Listen, mate, if you believed in the family, you wouldn't be feeding them that crap, all right? This actually happened in the Gore-Bush election, the first time Bush was not elected. In an anti-Gore advertisement, political advertisement, they left the subliminal in too long. You couldn't see it when it passed through normal speed, but you only had to play it back slowly, slightly, for it to come up. And just as they were saying an anti-Gore statement in the political commercial, rats came up, which the subconscious would have picked up, and it associates Gore, rat, negative association. This is happening all the time to us as they try to manipulate our reality. Time magazine, when they were they were really anti-Gaddafi, when they were trying to demonize him. Whatever happened to him? I thought he was a danger to the world. Is he gone? Was he gone? Is he still alive? I don't know. What's happening? We've got old stuff. We've got new monsters now. You have to keep up with it. Anyway, on his face, subliminally, which has been pointed out in this book where this picture comes from, on his face, subliminally, obviously not like this, you see the word, when you look at it real closely and blown up, the word kill and the word sex. Sex is used a lot to attract consciousness subliminally to look at a picture that they will then absorb, and then kill there. Oh yes, kill Gaddafi, or must get him. It's all subliminal. Interestingly, when we had these embedded reporters, embedded with the people that they were reporting about, therefore very, very easy to suppress what they were reporting in terms of the bigger picture of what people needed to know, they became known in the Iraqi invasion as embeds, embedded reporters, embeds. What do advertisers and others call subliminally implanted messages? They call them embeds. And that's what these reporters were, subliminally apparently reporting the news of the war while actually reporting a version that suited the authorities. They'll put people, you know when you're talking to someone, I mean imagine if I spent the day like this, and then this happened, and then that happened. Well, what they've started doing now is they've started putting soldiers and others behind these guys like Bush and Blair, because of the subliminal message. Literally on one level, dead simple, the troops are behind the Prime Minister. And all these kind of subliminals are put in. A simple one, like they arranged for this child to be picked up by Tony Blair when he first went to Iraq, to give the subliminal and literal message of, hey, look, great for children, when they've slaughtered tens of thousands of them, but we won't mention that. Well, we Mr. Blair. He kind of took it too far, as he normally does. But this is the principle of it. It's all subliminal, kind of manipulating our reality with stuff like that. And they want to control what's in our heads and control our virtual reality. They want to turn us into robots. They want to turn us into computers so that we come from this level of being instead of that level of being. And now we come to something we talked about earlier. Why do they want genetically modified foods? Because they want to manipulate the computer to become even more difficult for consciousness to manifest its true magnitude through. When people suffer brain damage, and they are incredibly limited in what they can perceive, and they're called vegetables and all this stuff, they're still infinite consciousness. And when they leave the body, they are infinite consciousness. The problem they have is the computer is knackered. And so consciousness cannot manifest itself through the computer, just as when you're trying to do something on the computer. It doesn't matter how computer literate and brilliant the guy on the keyboard is, if the computer knackered, it's knackered. There's nothing you can do. Same principle, same symbolism. And what they're trying to do now, with all this stuff I'm going to talk about in the next little sequence, is to suppress and imbalance and destabilize the computer to an even greater extent, so that the waking up process that we're now in cannot manifest itself through the computer into this level that they are manipulating and seeking to control. That's what genetically modified food is about. Fluoride. Now, all these things that I'm going to go through have one thing in common. They are what scientists call excitotoxins. In other words, they excite brain cells to the point where they cease to function. The electrochemical process of the brain and the body, which manifests as our emotions, as with the example of the mercury in the case of the lady that transformed her personality, they are trying to destabilize that electrochemical balance so that this computer will not allow consciousness to manifest its true genius into the world that we are experiencing. Fluoride is an excitotoxin. Vaccines are having the same effect, and of course they affect the brain through the mercury and other ingredients, which is why certain vaccines and combinations of vaccines have been associated with things like autism. It imbalances the electrochemical balance of the body-brain. That's the idea. Aspartame is an excitotoxin. Exactly the same repeating theme. It affects the way we think. That's why he was involved. He's obviously had a lot. Then you come to the electromagnetic pollution that we're being subjected to. That is also not by accident. It is because of the effect it has on the electrochemical balance of the body and our ability to manifest consciousness into this matrix reality in its full magnitude. Chemtrails and all this stuff. I go into this in my newsletters and stuff. The heart program with these radio signals being bounced off the ionosphere and filling this reality with a radio frequency electromagnetic soup. That's all to do with suppressing our ability to function, as is the tetramass system and all these others. And this is why, as I said earlier, we have to start realizing that while there are pressure groups for all these different things, all roads lead to the same force, because they're all different strands in the same agenda of suppression. The microchip is the piece de la resistance. See, I can speak Italian. See, that is why they want the microchip inside us. The brain is the central processing unit of the body computer. It filters and processes all the information traffic. In a computer, the central processing unit is a microchip. What they want to do with the microchip, the real reason, is they want to hijack the electrochemical processes of the body so that they can intervene in the way that information traffic is communicated through the body. Therefore, affecting the way that consciousness can manifest itself through thought, etc., out into this reality as behavior, understanding, and wisdom. They want to shut us down. That's what the microchip's about. That's why that guy with a patch on his chest said, if people say no to one thing, say no to the microchip. Because that is the robotic agenda, turning us into robots on a real literal scale. What they want to do is hold us where we've always been in recent times, in the eggshell. Hold us in this computer-level sense of reality we call the five senses, and disconnected from the infinite consciousness that we are. And we are caught in this matrix because we operate on that level, and we perceive division instead of infinite oneness. And so what we do is, it's a thing like the mirror. We are trying to change out there, which is nothing more than a mirror in here of our sense of reality. We're out there, we're doing this, we're doing that, trying to change this reality out there. We're never going to do it because it doesn't exist out there. It exists in here and it exists in here. If we come from consciousness. What the Illuminati want us to do through all those institutions is to perceive change happens out here. Because they know out here comes from in here, if we perceive change happens out there, change is never going to happen. And they know that because we're combing the mirror. You know, if we want to comb our hair, we don't comb the mirror, we comb our hair, and the mirror then reflects that. When we change this, the mirror out there reflects this, and the world changes. Just a mirror reality. Combing the mirror. We'll do it forever and nothing will change. We stop doing it, everything will change. It's another thing that they've tried to keep from us, but they've held at the upper levels of the secret society network. And that is the key law of attraction. What you put out is what you get back. What you focus on is what you manifest. They know how this works. And they've used this process in a way that's attracted all the wealth of the world, basically, and all the real power in this reality, they're not power in infinite reality, into their hands. Because they understand the law of attraction. And they understand that what they get the people to focus on then becomes their experienced reality. So they get the people to focus on survival. That's the key thing. Keep them in a mode of survival, and then they will always experience a life of surviving. Have I got enough? Will I get to the end of the month?